Good evening once again, and welcome to We Talk on TV4. And I believe we have another wonderful show for you this evening on TV4. We're going to talk about the spoken word and learn so much more about it from some professional members in the fraternity. Now, last week, I took it upon myself to do a little something to kick it off. But this week, I really want to watch the guys do their thing and maybe learn a little bit. So if I could pick up a couple things along the way, maybe I'll try to put a little 2 cents in. And those are the members actually who are here with us this evening, members from the 2 Cents movement. And I'd like to welcome to the program Mr. Akil Wallace, who is on my left, and also Mr. Darren Sanders, is it?
Yeah, Sandy.
Darren Sandy,
yeah.
From the 2 Cents movement. Welcome to the program, guys. We're not going to go into it just yet, and I know that they've been, practicing because they said, well, this evening we're going to deal with Mark because he dealt a little something last week to the extempo men. But before we get to that part and learn more about the 2 Cents movement and also about the spoken word movement, which is a very relatively large movement in Trinidad and Tobago. And I actually was limited to think that spoken word was just limited to Trinidad and Tobago, but it's a worldwide movement. So we're going to find out more about that. And if you'd like to be part of our discussions this evening, you can also link up with us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/OurTV4. Also at gislimited.tt/TV-4. You can also follow us on Twitter at OurTV4, #LeWeTalk, and our phone numbers if you'd like to chat with us, maybe if you want to challenge the guys because they are really, really good. Akil won a competition, was it last week? And he is, I'm not going to tell you how much money he won, but a significant amount. So he is so much more dollars richer right now, sitting here. And the gentleman who placed second in the competition is sitting next to him. So we'll find out about that also. But you can be part of this evening's discussion. You can call us at 675-8747 and 675-8749. Time to talk. Let me talk. Guys, we're talking the spoken word this evening. What exactly is the spoken word?
The spoken word is, I'll call it one of the fastest growing trends in Trinidad and Tobago. One, I guess because of the involvement of the 2 Cents movement in so many different secondary schools. But what it is as an art, to me, it's more or less of an alternative literary form. And characterized by rhythmic delivery and the cultural relevance. I think that's what spoken word is in a nutshell. It's so many things, but if you have to grasp onto a definition to tell somebody, tell them it's an alternative literary form characterized by rhythmic delivery and cultural relevance.
Rhythmic, defined by the person who is doing his style at that point in time.
Yeah.
So everyone has a different style. So if my style is a rhapsody type influence, that would be my rhythmic flow.
Yeah.
All right. So yours would be different to Akil's. What is your flow?
I still trying to define my flow really. I just tend to use a little bit of ranges and stuff, something I'd have learned from a next poet, Keegan Mirage, and deliver close. Some people say I deliver poems close to how I speak, so I guess it's kind of natural to how I've always been talking, and I guess sometimes it just depends on what the poem calls for, the poems calls for you to do. So I do think I have a particular style, although people say I do, but I do think I can't really target it or define it yet.
Now, Darren and Akil. Akil, since you guys are members of the spoken word movement, how do you define yourself? We have an soca artists call themselves soca artists. If you're just a singer, you're a singer. What are you? How do you define yourself? Are you a spoken word exponent, or are you a poet? What are you?
Well, I don't really like to put any titles to myself or what I do. I leave that for people to do. Sometimes to my own self, I used to be like, people call me a spoken word poet. Mm-hmm. But in my opinion, I'm not necessarily a spoken word poet. I like to see myself as a lyricist, right? With the ability to craft words in such a creative and amazing way that it wows people, right? Whatever that is, right? If you want to box it into spoken word poetry, you could, And so I accept the box, and I live in the box because, it's the only box I have to live in right now.
That is what sometimes people are accustomed to, because we need to define. Sometimes we like to define, okay, this is what it is. So this is the easiest way to differentiate. It is this or it is that. How long have you guys been involved in the spoken word movement? And how large is the movement actually in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, I've been performing 2009, October was my first performance. So October, I'll make it 6 years this year, by God's grace. The movement, in terms of people who have been actively plying the trade, performers who have been performing on a regular basis, it's not really a large group to say. There are plenty of people, it's just a few, and I guess most of us know each other.
How much is a few? Is a few 50, 100, 200?
I could, if I say 20, I might be going real far. I might be going with like 20 poets you could call on at any point who have poems ready. They're ready to go on stage and perform. Probably about 20. But there are many people who actually do spoken word or attempt the art form, get involved in the art form. For example, if we were to judge by auditions for the competition that Akil would have won, there were 149 people audition, I think, and last year it was about that same thing, 120, something like that. So, and then we had a school competition as well. And there are hundreds of students in school who start in spoken word poetry, performing it and getting into it actively. They'll post little videos on Facebook and that kind of thing. So the community, it's growing quickly amongst that secondary school market because of the Two Cents movement influence there. But overall, I wouldn't say it's big. I don't know if Akil...
What are the audiences like? Because if you're talking about it's just a small movement, what in terms of your turnout when you guys perform? What is the audience like?
It depends on what event it is. So you have like the open mics. We have open mics in USC, right? We have open mics in UE, and it would have, close to 50, 60, 100 for the most, right? Coming out to those events, and then you would have employers asking us to do a performance for something. And whatever that event is would have the associated amount of people, right? And then you would have shows, which is where you would want to know how much people really follow spoken word. And competitions, and there you get to see, 5, 6, 7, 800, 1,000. Look, this competition I won had 1,200 people. And that was like, I don't think it had a spoken word event that had so many people ever in the history of Trinidad and Tobago,
Is it that the young people who are gravitating towards spoken word, like how hip-hop is to Americans, is it a way of expression, how they express themselves and maybe what they see around them, things that they encounter on a daily basis, problems, issues?
Yeah, definitely a lot of that. Definitely a lot of personal experiences you'll get coming out from the younger poets. They tend to be influenced by the older poets as well. Like I remember Shana Lucia, and I always refer to her as one of the most influential poets in the country. Because when we go into the schools, you hear these girls with a style just like her. She's another poet with a distinct rhythmic style and pattern. And you hear a lot of the young girls not just delivering in her style, but talking about the issues she deals with, single parent, just being a girl in this forest with this wolf for so many guys coming behind them and that kind of thing. So you'll see a lot of that coming out. So they're influenced by that and I guess their personal experiences. I remember a young poet posted a video and she was in the secondary school slam and she posted a video on Facebook about something that really happened to her. It was some issue with the mother and the father and this and that, and she was upset. So she vented in this manner, in no obscene language or anything, but she really vented, real emotions just coming out in the poem. And that poem had a lot of views. I think that was on some radio program and all, they were discussing it and thing. So it went viral. So, just the girl talking about her issues. So a lot of the spoken word that being produced now by the secondary school students, just the issues talking about the myriad of problems they might be facing and that kind of thing.
What would be interesting right now at this point, because we've been talking about it, and maybe you could perform and follow, as Aki would give us an example of what the spoken word really is, or what it sounds like, and his personal rhythm as compared to your own. So our viewing audience would have a really strong idea now of what the spoken word is really about. So we can begin with that.
A few lines from a poem. What is in a cigarette? A boy would wish it was a sexy chick. so that when he pulls her sexy lips, he could inhale her sexy hips and exhale clouds of her sexiness. But sadly, the thing PG-13, there's no sex in this. There's no hips, lips, or butt in a cigarette butt. What's in a cigarette blocks blood from reaching the spot, so that when she's sexy and you are hot, you can hold it down because gravity holding up. You could try what? Like Jack Warner's fire truck, you might need to spend way more than you should just to get it up. Because when you light up in the daytime, definitely out your light in the nighttime. Because when your thing's supposed to be straight like a white line, the thing curved like a Nike sign, you might find yourself a Reebok sign X if you can't find a way to get it straight like men who are on the opposite sex.
Sounding good, Akil. Darren.
This is just another bareback black yarn in the back poem. You know them. The kinds that mistake luxury for necessity and barking at you like you owe them, and my clothes are drenched in ignorance. Trust me, it's you who sow them. These bareback blacks living in barracks behind God's back kind of poems with no pinpoint argument, just flowing grievances and disgruntles that talk about this gun could and this drug could. These drunkards intoxicated by beverages that blame slavery. Another shot to their chest. It's time to blame somebody. We are no land. It's the government. We are no plan. They blame the government. We are no girl. It's the government. We are no man. It's the government. This is just another bareback black. I live in Trinidad, but somehow my allegiance is with barracks. So there's an American flag hanging in the back of my backyard poem. Blackbirds running me down in the same yard, so I strike back at them. They remind me of oppression that we black people once used to get. So these docile pecs feel like my biggest threat. So this is my biggest threat poem. I go and light my mango tree on fire and kill all of them. Who is magnificent? I with this no shirt. I with this kerosene. I with this mentality to destroy a whole park for one weed.
Wow, boy. Wow. I think I'm going to save mine for maybe later on. And maybe later on I'll try to join the guys. But it is really interesting because when you listen to the delivery, you listen to the lyrics, a lot of thought would have gone into putting pen to paper, if that is the way you guys write, or are you more or less freestyle? That is the way you choose to express yourselves.
Pen to paper, definitely for me.
Yeah, it's pen to paper. Normally, before what you hear on stage is something that has been rehearsed before. You practice. I mean, I could freestyle if the situation come about and I forget the poem on stage and I don't want to look bad. I think I could wing my way through because my mom used to make me extempo plenty when I was small. So don't call me the extempo.
I realize you wanted to make that clear.
When I was small, yeah. Right, so yeah, but it's really pen to paper. Like I guess your cigarette piece would have been a piece you wrote for a specific thing.
Yeah, specific.
But what about the influence? Where was the influence that listening to what you mentioned in terms of the Western mentality that we have? Is it based on what you're seeing around?
Definitely. That bareback blacks came straight from our community experience, seeing people sitting down and blaming the government for everything and wouldn't try to, the piece ends by telling them to get up and you overcome your issues because you are empowered to do so. So that is where the bareback blacks came from, a direct community experience, and just trying to encourage the people who have not been taking advantage of the strengths that they have to take advantage of the strengths they have and try to make life better for yourself.
Let's talk about the 2 Cents movement and your involvement. What is the 2 Cents movement and who are the members of the 2 Cents movement? Because we're seeing 2 members here, and I'm sure there's a following. And because I saw there was a video that you guys had on YouTube, and a couple months ago, that video was launched on one of the other forms of media. So tell us about the work that you guys have been doing behind the scenes also, and making persons more aware of what you guys are doing.
The 2 Cent movement is a not-for-profit organization that tends to stimulate and endorse youth consciousness, allowing the youth to know that it's cool to be conscious and they can mold consensus and really bring up youth as the leaders in society, spoken word being the major avenue However, it really started off as a debate in society. Akil was around in the days of the debate in society. But I guess it's the same thing, dealing with issues, just allowing you to talk and really stake their claim in society. That is what the 2 Cent movement is.
So the 2 Cents is playing on, this is your 2 cents.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is
2 cents, your opinion, contribute something, pitch in, say something, let your voice be heard. So that is really the message we go around in the different secondary schools doing it. I could talk about the secondary school tour, which is one of the major projects the 2 Cent movement engages in. It started last year as the first one. Last year they went to about 30 schools, 33. And this year it was about 60 schools on the tour, 60 secondary schools. So we do a performance, like I said, for probably about an hour, with not just performances, but discussion as well as any of the students who have been performing, they get to come up and display their work as well. And on the weekends, like say we went to the East-West Corridor during this week, on the weekend we'll have one workshop in somewhere in the East-West Corridor for all the students who we engage with that week to come and actually learn the art properly. We set off a little workshop, a one-day workshop which takes you through the basics of writing really, and then going into performance. So that's one of the major projects.
Do you believe that in your experiences now that the art form that you are involved in, that you support, is getting the type of respect and recognition that it truly deserves?
Take that one, man.
You see that word truly? Maybe it getting recognition, maybe it getting respect. I'm not sure it getting the respect and recognition it truly deserves. From young people, of course, because we know young people are the most impressionable in society and they will hold on to anything. And I mean, spoken word seems to be a male-dominated thing. I mean, if you look at the ratio to males and females in spoken word, I think there are more males in spoken word. So you find a lot of people, a lot of big women and things, coming up to us, well, me especially, and talking about how proud they are to see young men doing something positive in society. We hear a lot of talk about young men, not pulling their weight, young men womanizing, just making children they can't mind, young men picking up a gun and going to rob people and things. But we're not hearing about the young men who picking up ideas and crafting it in such an intelligent and powerful way that it could reach people and change their behavior actually. Literally, I had a poem on soft drink that I made people stop drinking soft drink after that poem. Right? It was a long time ago. I don't remember it now, but I mean, spoken word has the ability to do wonders because you're dealing with information and we're dealing with communication. So the movement itself, because we have so many males, people see hope in performance.
But all right. So now, in terms of there's improvement, there's growth within the movement. We also want to talk about, as when we come back from the break, about the future of the spoken word, because what we don't want is the art form itself to just fizzle away.
Yeah.
The persons who might be in authority to maybe pump some sort of investment into the spoken word, like how there's investment in other areas, maybe in terms of getting together and putting something forward to get that sort of support. But we'll talk about that and a whole lot more when we come back. This is We Talk. We're talking spoken word, and you're going to hear some more. I'm not sure just yet. I'm trying to get my ideas together, but I'm getting there. I'm getting warm, and pretty soon you might hear a little something. But stay with us. This is We Talk on TV4.
Man has gone from the owner of an unending garden to the stoner of their own glass homes, cracking the walls, leaving the children exposed and wives to find shelter. This new man must have mistaken uterus for umbrella, for the reign of his misbehavior has homes eroded and weathered, whether or not he employed or job severed. If you had the audacity to pluck the precious feathers, then mind the bird.
Paper thing.
so far is 4 years. 4 years at another school, and I'm asking myself the question whether I'm just another fool who do this entire thing just to get a piece of paper that says I'm entitled to make more paper. Or whether by writing with my right hand right now on this paper that something has been formed within me that can't be confined or defined by a piece of paper. Whether I become inherently more than the paper I pursue. Whether the education process led to my mind being renewed and my actions becoming new, influenced inevitably by the ineffable effect of knowledge that is new and true.
Welcome back to Larry Talk. And I wake up this morning and I eat a bake, I say, a piece of bake with a piece of cheese, slight butter inside and a cup of tea. And I wash it down with a smile and I say, thank you, Lord, I'm feeling good. Drop your bow. let me talk. Let me talk. Of course, a lot more practice required, but you got the gist. Let me talk on TV4. Folks, remember you can be part of the discussion. You can call us at 675-8747 and also 675-8749. The professionals from the 2 Cents movement. These are the professionals, folks. We're talking about support and getting the type of recognition that it truly deserves. And I was trying to allude now to governmental support to really get the word out there in terms of a lot of persons who may know about the spoken word movement may have had some sort of experience, or they may have a friend who is actually involved with the spoken word movement. But there are a number of persons in the general population who still don't know about the spoken word movement. What type of efforts are being made to make it more general and more national in that sense?
Well, definitely one of the two major things I guess happened in the last 2 years. One of those things was the actual involvement with the Bocas Lit Fest. The organizer of the Bocas Lit Fest realized that in order to get youth interested in literacy, you probably had to go about different ways doing it. And they integrated the spoken word into the Bocas Lit Festival, which is a high-class festival that I guess 3 years ago a spoken word artist wouldn't even see his place there. But they understood the importance of the spoken word in literacy on the whole, and they integrated us in the festival. And that's where the spoken word slam happens. That's where the competition came out from. The second thing that would have happened is the China. It could have been Chinese Laundry's initiative to start the Free Speech Project. And that, the reach of that was incredible. People asking me, hey, I hear you on radio.
I want you to hold and remember your point. We have a caller from Couva. Good evening. Welcome to Larry Talk. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to Larry Talk.
Thank you. Good evening on the panel. I just want to say congratulations to Akeem. This is his Auntie Val.
Good evening, Auntie Val.
Good evening, Auntie
Good evening, Akeem.
Good evening, Auntie Val.
I just wanted to say it's something that I didn't really know about. I had no idea about anything about the spoken word. I like drama and I like poetry. But this is something new to me. And I'm very happy to see that this is your passion. And I would like to congratulate you for how far you have reached.
Okay, thank you very much, Auntie Val. And we do encourage you to please turn down your sets. You can listen to us on the phone. We are getting that delay if you're listening on the television. So you can turn the set down and speak to us on the phone. All right. Once again, those numbers 675-8747 and 675-8749. Larry Talk, we are talking spoken word, and Darren, you were making a point.
Oh yeah, it's on the Free Speech Project, which the spoken word is now on the radio. And I guess the artists themselves saw some sort of value. Hey, I actually have the opportunity now for people to hear me, because I mean the open mics, as you'd have suggested, was just a few people who know a friend, and they come. But this really gave the thing some leverage. So those two things with the school tour, it really started to build a foundation for it, I'd like to say. Although a lot of people would have worked very hard before setting up little pillars, but I think those things really rested the foundation on top of it in order to continue to grow
I do apologize. We have another caller on the line. Good evening, caller.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, Akil, this is Auntie Paula.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, family.
Auntie Val and Auntie Paula. Good evening,
Yes,
Auntie Paula.
I am so proud of Akil. I am a teacher, and I am seeing our young men just fall by the wayside. And Akil is a good example that this does not have to happen. So I congratulate Akil and his partner there, and keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Auntie Paula. Here is your life. And Darren, you can continue your point.
And I really, in order to get the foundation, build some walls and a ceiling for it, I think it's important for the government to recognize the value of spoken word poetry. Because it's not just about performing, it has gone way past that. It's about healing, improving literacy, dealing with different issues. We have been working on so many different projects. We did a project with the Ministry of Justice, a small project, going around and it was called Healing Words, whereby they were using writing as a form to kind of curb rebellious behavior. And when you see the importance of that and how effective those things are in the little sessions that they have, I think that a really long-term sustainable investment into the spoken word art form could lead to real changes.
We have to cut in again. We have another caller on the line from St. Joseph. Good evening, St. Joseph.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks for the show. I'd like to know if you have a number for your group, and if your group is organized, if you have a number or a contact, some sort of contact, not Facebook. I'm not technical.
Okay.
341-7946. That'll be the number for the 2 Cents Movement. 341-7946.
341-7946.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am, did you get the number? Okay, she's gone. So, in terms of really getting out there, how organized is the movement itself? Is it under a particular body? Does it fall under TUCO also? In terms of the work that you do, is it copyrighted? Is it that you can also go to court to collect royalties per performance? What type of organization is there in the movement right now?
Well, you could protect yourself as an artist, obviously. I'm signed with COT. I don't know about, signing with COT.
Does COT honor that type of work?
It depends on if your work is being played on radio and then you get royalties per play and that kind of thing. But in terms of protecting your own work, you just have to kind of go through different mechanisms, make sure you have creative process and thing in place to protect yourself. In terms of the 2 Cent Movement organization, I don't think you're registered under anybody. It's more or less an independent organization.
Yeah, independent NGO.
Yeah, independent NGO.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is no way. What about there's no particular type of structure just yet?
Well, we have a executive, and that could consist of 5 to 6 people. We currently expanding the executive board and taking people with different skills, because we don't only offer performers or poetry. We offer other services like videography and thing. We have our own studio. We could, if you want to record something, we charge you for that service. So we have many different services that we offer right now that form part of what the 2 Cent Movement offers.
And we have another call on the line. Good evening. Welcome to We Talk.
Good evening to the host,
Good evening, sir.
Mr. Mark.
Good evening.
Yes, and to the 2 guests in studio there.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to a fresh breath of air. This is Mr. Tabakit.
Good evening,
And
Mr.
I'll
Tab.
say this. I would advise these guys to speak with the Minister of Education. I think this should come on the curriculum. And especially in schools where there is a lot of violence, where a lot of children is lashing out. Because I tell you one thing, love is the strongest message, the strongest medium. And lots of young people, when they lashing out, is because lack of love in the home. And I think this art form this platform can help these people. Let's look at what happened yesterday in Shogunas. You can tell these children is lashing out. So if you suspend them and you send them there, they just go languishing in the community. So my advice to this group is to start coming out. Reach out to schools, meet with the Dean of Discipline, meet with the safety officers. And I think there's where you all need to go. You just can't say, yes, I understand you would want to promote yourself. You would want to be on the radio. You would want to be in competition. But I think this is a good platform to start. I would advise, as a matter of fact, I make a clarion call to you this evening. Get in touch with the Minister of Education. This is something that I believe we need, and this is where young people would be able to explore and express themselves. If you're talking in terms of a platform, this is the fresh new platform, a fresh new voice. This is what we need. Congratulations. Mr. Tabakit is saying, look, I lend support to you all and go to the head of the class. God bless.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tabakit. And when you take what he's saying, there is validity in terms of what has been put forward to you.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, I guess people start to see the value of something after a while. And a lot of people that have been in the trenches, from the Mohammeds to the Ivory Haynes, just trying. And then Jacques came out of kind of nowhere in a kind of way. And he just had this idea and this dream to make spoken word. He believed in the value of spoken word. Jacques made me leave my job as a teacher to pick up being an artist full time so we could get more projects done and get more work done. And we have been attempting all sorts of different things, some successful, more successful than the other. But we'll continue to work to get to that place where it needs to be, because we know the value of it. We have seen the value of it. I mean, plenty times I, myself and Idris Salim, we'd have worked with students who came into the workshop. They even be able to stand and say their name properly, and by the end of their speaking, and to see that is really hard. It's really moving. I mean, self-esteem is a real important part of identity. So I really believe in the spoken word and the spoken word art. And as Mr. Tabakit was saying, we will continue to knock on the doors of ministries and to really make efforts to expand, continue to expand and grow.
Once again, folks, remember those numbers, 675-8747 and 675-8749, spoken word. Two very conscious young men who are sitting here with us this evening and expressing about the art form that it is, and of course, hoping for this type of support from corporate Trinidad and Tobago, and of course, from the members of society to come on board and, of course, really support this movement and this art form itself. In terms of how similar is it our local form of spoken word when you compare with maybe persons in the region and persons internationally? Are there any differences or are there similarities we can look at?
I don't know about regional poets. I haven't heard much Caribbean poets, right? So I can't speak for them. A lot of people get into spoken word here, watching people on YouTube, American poets on YouTube. The style is definitely different. I think we kind of ahead of them in terms of rhythm. We have a more dynamic rhythm, in my opinion, right? At least certain poets in our space have a more dynamic rhythm than those in America, and they tend to utilize rhyme in a different way. We utilize rhyme more, right, in more complex and creative ways. They don't necessarily utilize rhyme. So sometimes they sound like they're talking, right? They utilize a lot of metaphors, so they could carry you places where you wouldn't understand what they're saying, and you might need to listen once, twice, 3, 4 times before you catch. Right?
I think it is also based on the whatever they're trying to reflect, maybe issues in society that we may not be familiar with, just like when you are speaking about things maybe in your society, in your general surrounding, they may not actually place with unless the issue itself is a universal type issue.
Right. So they tend to more deal with more universal issues and less specific issues. So you find our spoken word has a lot of the calypso spirit in it. So we would talk about the politicians and things. We would jab at them, a little pick on here and there, you know. We would make reference to something that happened yesterday in the country in our piece. No, they wouldn't do that, right? Their poems usually appeal to people all around the world. They usually pick topics and they usually do it in a manner that anybody could relate, you know. So that's a good thing, you know, because sometimes our pieces cannot be exported.
Correct.
You know.
What about your accent? And I think in terms of as Trinidadians, and even those persons who might be looking at the program right now might be saying to themselves, they would want you as local poets to maintain your accents.
Correct,
so that
right.
you can be identified as a poet from Trinidad, so to say. So what about when you even go to a function and you hear a poet on stage and he's rhyming American slang type accent and he's yo man and yeah dude up in the hood, which does not reflect our society at all?
From day one, I had a version, I'd like to say, to the American style. I wouldn't sell my accent for $1 million, $1 million US. So I really like the way we express ourselves, and I think we can reach other audience types, even though they're not from Trinidad or that kind of thing. But I really believe in the Trinidad Creole, and I inserted plenty, not just in my spoken word poetry, but in day-to-day life. I used to teach English A and English B using a lot of Creole, and I saw the success of that because the students were able to understand that there are two different things, and one is not necessarily bad or one is not necessarily good. Right? Just one is accepted and needed at a certain point, and you have to learn to manipulate it.
But do you accept the argument that some may say, I have to use an accent for the persons outside to understand what I'm saying?
I might physically attack somebody who says something like that. No, I really don't believe it at all. I don't believe it at all. I really believe in somebody exporting yourself, export your true self. Obviously, you might have to alter your content to really adjust and really be able to hit them still. But I believe once you talk in English and they speak in English, we could communicate.
Yeah. Strange enough, it had somebody from South Africa in the versus competition, and they want us to come South Africa. Now, they couldn't necessarily understand some of the specific political allusions and stuff like that, but they could catch the spirit of the piece, then catch
because
the
as we were talking
voice.
about accents, it doesn't mean if you go to Africa you have to start. You say, well, I want to tell you because we woke up this morning and you change your accent. It's almost like you have changed and you have compromised. If they wanted an African, they would have gone and gotten an African.
That's right.
The reason they looked at you and they fell in love with you is because there is something maybe in your accent even that they liked.
Yeah, and the 2 Cent movement, we have videos online. That's the video you'd have been talking about, Maximan tracking schoolgirl, and a range of others. Paper thing was just shown on the television. That was the first one. And under the comments, you see people from Belgium and all over the world commenting on the poetry, and that is really heartwarming. It's really a heartwarming experience. So it's universal as we have it here. We own a universal craft that belongs to us.
What are some of the misconceptions really about the spoken word that I'm sure there are a few that you would like to maybe clear the air on?
You taking one first?
Well, I would say that it has to be done in rhyme, right? Or it has to be done like me or like him. No. I guess the underlying principles in spoken word is you have to get the words to fit in a way that it gets it up to a certain tempo that at least you could do like this.
You don't want to be boring. At the same point,
And you actually you could do a slow piece, but somehow the words need to come together in such a way that it gets people attention then, right? So anything that works for you, and each person should try to find their own style instead of trying to copy other people. I mean, I know the benefit of looking at others and watching at what works, right? And that's good. But you just don't want to be a Net Me or a Net Darren or, you know. So too many poets copy other people from abroad, right? And now as we hit the schools, a lot of the poets will want to copy us, copy histories, copy Darren, copy me. But they shouldn't, you know.
And you get that all the time. And before you give your list, even in the soca fraternity, there are so many. There's a Marshall Montana, and then there are Marshallettes, and there are Bungilettes, Iwalettes, and of course all the others who copy the style of the person they may adore.
Right.
So it would be hard to tell them, do not look at this one and try to be that one, because in some way they might be influenced by what you might say and the way you may carry yourself and the way you spit your rhymes specifically.
Yeah, that's true. Eventually, I guess it's all about your journey, and your journey as a poet, as a performer. It's finding what works for you, as Aki was saying, rather than trying to wholesale take something from someone. If somebody copy me, I'll be glad. I'll feel relevant and good, But it's all about the poet finding their own way. One big misconception about spoken word poetry is that, and I've seen it posted, people think it's just African people shouting grievances, disgruntled, But that's absolutely, that's false. I mean, if you trace the history of it, you'll find a lot of it in the African oral tradition of the griots and whatnot. But the spoken word, it's open to anybody. But that's a big misconception. I wouldn't lie, the art is predominantly African,
But it's open to all.
It's open to all. Yeah, one of the best, and who I consider probably the greatest spoken word poet in Trinidad is Keegan Mirage, and he's Indian from Penal, and he always makes references to the fact that people look at him, Indian man doing spoken word, and it's taboo, but it's really not. It's art open to every single person who has a story, because everybody has a story.
And of course, we're going to hear some more about those stories. You are watching Larry Talk. We're talking about the spoken word, guys from the 2 Cents movement, and we're going to hear and enjoy a little bit more from them when we come back. Stay with us. This is Larry Talk on TV4.
I am the one foretold in times past, caught and sold as a race came in last. Looked back at history's lies and laughed. Straightened my back and walked off into the sunset. Burned oppressors to the ground in my wake. They met their death. Call me son of the sun dread. I ain't done yet. I came masked up. My intention is to murder this track. There is no protection when I am on the attack. So my suggestion to the sane is don't try to do that, because even time flowing in the opposite direction couldn't hold me back.
You better don't be creeping or sneaking in anybody's backyard. Tiffin, please leave the people foul. Sleeping when that girl peeping, because I'm out like wasta pipes, always leaking. Next thing you know, Sergeant Alexander. This is Miss Phoebe speaking. I was just sleeping. I'm peeping. And I see this boy thieving. Next thing you know, it's blinking red lights and a blue and white Jeep in your street in to reach in your backyard.
Welcome back to the program. Thank you for staying with us. This is Larry Talk on TV4. We're talking about the spoken word. Once again, those numbers, 675-8747 and 675-8749. And the members of the 2 Cents movement. Guys, how important is the social media aspect? Is it when it comes to promoting your art form?
Social media is the life. It's the life itself of everything. Everybody on Facebook, and you could measure certain things. Likes like a currency, likes the social media currency. So you can measure things. You could get instant response, instant way people feel about things. Constant communication with even the person who met you yesterday. Right, so that's very critical. It's important for us to, as artists, to keep our Facebook profile more or less up to date with about spoken word things, if events coming up and that kind of thing. Then I know one of the poets by the name of Feli, she has her site there and she will promote everyone's event. So I always send people to open up on Facebook, that's the name of the page, if they really want to find out what's going on in the spoken word fraternity.
I think people who online have a definite advantage in knowing what's going on in the spoken word world because we principally live online. We have a movement, a community of people that discuss things. So not poetry related, just discuss things, debate things. Because we started as a debating society. So we had a following, a debating following first before we transformed into 2 cents.
So you're all debating topics, debating performances, all of that?
Not so much performances, but more just topics. Topics, issues.
So you may have a particular song and you may open it up for views from others on the outside. Based on the type of feedback, you would know how or what or which is your way forward after that.
I guess it could be used like that, but not typically. It wouldn't be used like that. So like, all right, we have the 2 cents fan page or the 2 cents movement page with respect to what 2 cents is doing right now in the spoken word world, and then we have a separate page for people who just deal with issues, nothing poetry related, just discussions, just people post up articles, about anything, and a whole long thread will be under that article, 50 comments, 60 comments.
What about platforms? Are there enough platforms available for you to showcase your art form?
There are many small platforms. Of course, there's Open Up Down South. There's One Mic, Skito and them carry on One Mic. Then there's UE USC, but those are both once a month. One Mic, I think, is once a month as well. Open Up could be every 2 weeks or something like that. And then there's True Talk No Lie, which is once a month as well. So there are many once a month kind of platforms. And if you really touch all, you'll get a lot of performance experience. But in terms of a consistent space that somebody could hear poetry every week, I don't think that exists. Probably if all the open mics really have a calendar, you'll be able to get an event per week. So it's something that the community really now coming together to really see how efficient we could bring it across to the public. So probably that is something you could look forward to, where you'll be able to touch an event every week, more or less.
The good thing is that you guys are not seasonal.
Yeah.
You operate all through the year.
Yeah.
So is it that maybe even carnival time, when the country is celebrating carnival, or when we're celebrating Christmas, is it that your topics may lean in that sense towards what might be going on in the country, or that type of energy in the country at that point in time?
Well, for me, I remember last week's semi-finals around Carnival. I wrote a piece about Carnival. I know Cleon has a piece about Christmas, because the thing when people coordinate to events, sometimes they have a specific event and on a piece on the specific thing. So it's good to follow the season, so you'll continue to expand your canon.
How would you think you have grown, maybe not just as a poet, but as a person being involved in the spoken word movement?
Definitely, spoken word has helped me to be more creative and dynamic and confident in public speaking spaces, like presentations in school. I would always be the one in groups to craft a script, because I write plays, but not on a professional level, but just, I might write a script for a presentation and thing, and it's like, most of the times it will go viral, in the classroom setting. People remember that throughout their schooling, right? They talk about the boy who had this presentation, or the boy who acted in it, or the boy who performed this piece. So I would always bring poetry to these presentations, and we would always get total, right? So in terms of speaking out, in terms of just communicating with people, tremendously spoken word has enhanced my ability to communicate with people.
Yeah, and well, I always used to tell everybody, a good poet is a good listener. Just from listening to so many perspectives from different poets, I've really grown into a more tolerant person, more patient, more able to because now you're understanding where somebody coming from rather than just taking a kind of judgmental approach. So I really believe I've matured in that aspect, learning to appreciate several different perspectives, different religions, different races, different perspectives on life. And not just the perspective, but why they adopt that particular perspective.
With time running down on us, because of course, as I say, funny how time flies when you're really having fun or having a really good time. I want you to share your numbers, your contact information once again with our viewing audience, and as we wrap, I want you to leave something with our viewing audience in terms of who you really are as individuals, because some people may look at you right now and say, you looking like a serious man, or you looking like a kicks man, but I want you to leave with them. Who are these two individuals they're seeing in front of them this evening?
Right, well, the contact information, 341-7946. You can contact the group's corporate secretary, 341-7946, or contact us on Facebook, the 2 Cent Movement. Really easy to find us. Use the number 2 instead of typing in TWO. And the 2 Cent Movement at gmail.com is really our contacts. But the number is easiest, 341-7946.
And who is Darren? Who is really Darren? Who is the guy that we're seeing sitting in front of us?
I am me, multi-talented, half arrogant, half confident. However you choose to divide it, I am me, master of fine arts, chasing a master in fine arts. Already I'm a bachelor's, 28-year-old ex-bachelor. I'm with a battle axe. You could feel free to relax. I'm a heathen slicer, man. I just slap them heathens with a dose of scripture. I am me, youth lifter, immune to temptation. Yeah, I give paper. Rap me, because I'm a present, always present, near evanescent. I return from the dust to dust this one in the face. Shake the muds off of my clothes to thrust mistakes back into place. I'm an old school spiritual gangster, correcting mouths with wrong answers. I am me, youth leader, stitch a saw if you need a surgeon. I bring light to dungeons. As a matter of fact, I build mansions, rivers, and basins. Call me a Freemason. As for years, I've been building mansions for youth development at no cost. And of course, I'm out of the box, unorthodox. Never lost, I'm a poet. Me, half preaching, half sermon that leaving tongues wet. They want more when I'm speaking. Mind your new shoes when they come in near to me, because I'm dripping and leaking. Talent, I have too much to hold. I am Darren Sandy.
Darren Sandy. Wow. Wow. Akil.
Well, I don't really have anything poetic. I'm a Christian, like Darren Sandy. And that basically drives my behavior, it drives my philosophy, life decisions. Basically, I'm a person that keeps to myself. I really do encourage much company. I think too much company could lead to too much problems with people, because people could be problematic. However, I could socialize when I have to and when I need to, and you could think I'm the greatest extrovert in the world. But I'm not. I'm really very introverted. I like to be by myself. I like to think a lot. You know, sometimes my family, like, you know, when I see you, no. I could just go missing for years.
Like I had to call you on national
TV. Yeah, that's why I had to call me on national TV. And I don't think they even knew I was on this program. I don't know how they know.
Well, guys, I hope that Auntie Val and Auntie Paula and Auntie Val, good evening to you all. And of course, when you see the guys, give them big hugs and give them, you know, a lot of encouragement. We want to thank you for viewing the program this evening. Thanks to the guys from the 2 Cents Movement, Darren and of course Akil, for sharing so much more about the spoken word movement and about themselves. And thank you, our viewing audience, and thank you for your calls. See you next week right here at 6:30 p.m. for another Let We Talk.